Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. We are back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the Sunday review. We're going to be discussing the hottest topics that have been around Arsenal throughout the week. The striker situation, Aubameyang situation, the Champions League chances. Chelsea have yet again dropped points today, so we're going to be discussing along those lines. Spurs trailing at Liverpool, they are still losing points. They're still losing more and more points. As Spurs. We're going to be looking at what exactly is the situation between Mikel Arteta and his players at the moment after winning 3 of 3 in the league. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get our party started. We are sponsored by the beautiful people from Melbet. Link is in the video description. Make sure you do check them out. All the interesting odds, all the interesting stuff in terms of betting, you will find it with Melbet. And of course, you'll get a 300% bonus when you sign up with my promo code Cossy. So when you sign up with them, make sure in that space where they ask for a promo code, place in my promo code Cossy, and you'll be very, very good to go. Let's start off with our Champions League hopes getting high this week after beating Leeds and also beating Southampton and West Ham. Now look, I think this is something that is really becoming a dream come true. We were bottom of the table at the beginning of the league, and I was fuming. I'm not even going to lie, guys. I was fuming. I thought this team was going to be struggling between 16th, 17th, 18th, because that is what we were last season. But this season, it's been a little bit better. The brand of football we are trying to play, we are not yet there really. But the brand of football the team is trying to put across is actually very, very interesting. The brand of players that we have and how interesting it is that they are really working so hard day in, day out to make sure that the team gets in 3 points every match day. I think it's really interesting. This month is one of the very, very difficult months. We started off December with 2 losses, and of course that was a very, very huge blow to Mikel Arteta and his plans. But in the recent 3 games, I think we've been really, really improving. We have scored 9 goals in the last 3 games. We have kept 2 clean sheets out of the last 3 games. And I think it's a very, very good performance. But the question is, are we set for the Champions League? I think that is a little bit still far away, for an answer to give. It is January. We are in January because this basically December is actually ending. We have 2 more games in December. The difficult one against Wolves and the easy one against Norwich. Games that we should win if they are not postponed. So I think for us not to start thinking and dreaming about Champions League, then it should be February, because after January, when you conclude February, it is now that time of the year when you just have to win every game. You're looking at it, but it's at the moment it is still very far away. We have only played 17 games this campaign. How many games do we have to go? Around 21 games to go. So it's still a very, very long way. But what I'm gonna say is, if our hopes are to go back to the Champions League, we have really done well. We have really, really, really set a great foundation, a very, very great background to where we want to be. And of course, beating Leeds, beating the easy teams, taking away those points, it is something that you really cannot skip. In the same week, we've had a very, very rough turmoil, in the club. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was stripped of his captaincy at Arsenal Football Club. I think that is where things actually didn't go very well in the week. Mikel Arteta, of course, came out in his in one of his press conferences this week, and he said, "We did what we had to do. We tried to do the best in terms of helping the player and also helping the interests of the club." Now, there have been so many mixed reactions from Arsenal legends, from pundits, from fans on whether Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang deserves to be stripped of his captaincy. In my opinion, I think it was the right decision to do by Arsenal, because he was no longer leading by example. He was no longer that leadership figure that you want. He was no longer the leader that we elected in the first place. But also, in the same week, the player has been banished from training with the rest of the group. The player is now training alone. I think that is where all of us do have very, very different thoughts and very different matters when it comes to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and what kind of punishment he has to take at the club. In my opinion, you can strip him of his captaincy, but banishing him is extreme, and I think that is what Mikel Arteta failed at. He really went extreme with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It was a disgrace that he went out to join a party, to get a tattoo. I mean, it's a silly reason why he's violating the rules, but then really banishing him at the moment, I think it was really, really extreme. I thought about the mental health of the player. I thought about a couple of things. But anyway, Aubameyang in this week as well stripped him of his captaincy. And now, in hierarchy, it is Alexander Lacazette leading the club. Obviously, at the moment, we're having a leadership group at Arsenal that is actually, taking on issues of leadership in the dressing room and on the pitch, being represented by Alexander Lacazette. Now, maybe in terms of the other talk you can talk about around the club was also the fact that Auba Lokonga was the first player to test positive with COVID-19 at the club. Now, we've really tried to keep a clean slate in terms of positive cases with players, but this week we confirmed a couple of staff members had actually got COVID-19, and I said that it's always going to be so hard when staff members are infected, when staff members are affected by the virus. It's going to be very hard to keep the players fit. It's always going to be very hard to keep the players, negative. It's gonna be very hard. But Mikel actually came out this week and he said that a lot of work is being done. They're putting in a lot of work to try and make sure that everyone stays safe, but they can't control the parameters in which players actually operate. They go home, they go to bars, they go to restaurants, they go for dinner, they go to hotels. So it's very difficult to monitor each and every move. But he said they actually try to do whatever they can when it comes to players and their health at the club. And he also said that there is a possibility that the league could be actually called off or called into a break if the worst goes to worst. Of course, we've seen so many players, so many games cancelled. This weekend, around 4 games on Saturday, or 5 games on Saturday were actually cancelled, and more games are still being cancelled because of the virus. So it's really not very, very pleasant that Auba Lokonga was the first player, but that is a confirmation. He was the first player to actually get infected with the virus. And of course, moving into transfers, because it's been a lot of work in terms of transfers, especially with Aubameyang being stripped of his captaincy. A lot of talk has actually been happening around the club. And of course, let's start off with the proposed swap deal between Ousmane Dembele and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, reports actually claim that intermediaries had actually suggested that Aubameyang and Ousmane Dembele should be swapped because they're under or they're almost at the same wage rate, and that's why they had thought, of course, personal thinking there that they could provide an easy solution to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's problems, and Ousmane Dembele also being at in a very very bad state, at Barcelona, picking up injuries every match day, every day. They thought they could just get rid of him and take in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Aubameyang seems likely, very, very happy with the project running down at Barcelona. He would love to join the club, but the wages are a big, big problem, and that could be the problem at which that Barcelona actually failed to go with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But also, Arsenal will not be interested in Ousmane Dembele, especially given the fact that he's earning almost 300k per week. And also the fact that Ousmane Dembele is also very, very injury prone. I doubt Arsenal will have anything to do with Ousmane Dembele and the swap deal with him and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Calcium Mercato, still in regards to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, they say that 3 clubs were offered the opportunity to sign Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and those clubs include Juve, they include AC Milan, and also Inter Milan as well. However, the problem was that those clubs can't sign Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang because he's earning lots and lots of money. Of course, we know Juve at the moment, they're trying to get rid of any players that are actually earning very stupid amounts of money, really doing nothing. They're trying to trim their squad. The likes of Adrian Rabiot are in great danger. The likes of Aaron Ramsey are all those players are actually in great danger. They will be axed from Juve. So Aubameyang cannot actually join Juve because he's really earning very, very much. It's the same problem with AC Milan. It's it's the same problem with Inter Milan. So if he's gonna join any of those clubs, because Arsenal have offered the clubs the opportunity to sign him, if he's going to join those clubs, then he will need absolutely to reduce his wages almost by 50%. That story was also running around throughout the week, and I actually talked about it. Now, in the other interesting stories, Arsenal submitted in their official inquiry. Someone was saying that I was lying about Guido Rodriguez, and I was like, look at this, look at this punk. Do you even find, do you even take time to find out what's happening around your club, or do you just sit on YouTube and make yourself the boss because it is zero, it is free content. So Guido Rodriguez, Arsenal submitted in their official inquiry for the second time to sign in Guido Rodriguez. At the first attempt was actually blocked by Real Betis, saying that the official offer we put in was actually not sufficient enough. So on the second attempt, what Arsenal did is that they just went in there and told Real Betis officially that we want to sign the player. There is no response right now from Real Betis, but at least what we know from credible sources from Spain is that there is interest, and Arsenal officially have told Real Betis they would love to sign the Argentine international Guido Rodriguez, 27 years of age. That story also really it's one of the stories that really concluded the week, but was also really interesting in terms of the Arsenal transfer window. Renato Sanchez, we were given a leeway, a green light to sign Renato Sanchez. So going for Guido Rodriguez could be a little bit, hard to understand. In the same week, reports from Italy indicated that Dejan Kulusevski had agreed to join Arsenal Football Club, and a 5-year contract was actually, awaiting him to sign, if only Arsenal can agree with the price, on a price with Juve. Now, what I know about the situation with Dejan Kulusevski is that he's one of the players that are going to be leaving Juve in January. Juve are looking to let him go. They're looking to offload a couple of players, including Arthur Melo, including Dejan Kulusevski, Rabiot, and Bentancur. And according to it was Nicolo Schira. He did come out and confirm that the player has an agreement with Arsenal. He's interested in joining Arsenal. He wants to join the club. It is only Arsenal that are still waiting for Juve. Juve are also still waiting for an official bid, for Arsenal, from Arsenal, which is actually believed to be incoming right from the last 2 weeks. So we are still waiting for that. But at least there is an agreement between Dejan Kulusevski, who's believed to be the next replacement of Nicola Pepe. So let's wait and see what is going to happen in that regard. Now, still talking about Juve and players we could get from there. Calcio Mercato still wrote a story, and they say that Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, are much interested in getting in Arthur Melo rather than Renato Sanchez, and the deal could be the structure of the deal could be that Arsenal get Arthur Melo on a loan deal and then sign him later in the summer if he really does impress. Now Juve are really looking at letting Arthur Melo go on loan or even on a permanent deal come January if the right offer comes in. Of course, there are so many midfielders at the moment that we are linked with, but of course the latest is Arthur Melo. In the really shocking news that we looked at as well was the fact that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta were interested in Mason Greenwood, the Manchester United youngster. Of of course, he's really untouchable as far as the information I have. United consider him untouchable. United think he's one of the future bright talents. They can't let him go. But Arsenal were linked with Mason Greenwood, and like I said in that video on the channel, I think this is scam. I think this is it's baseless. It's absolutely baseless. But of course, the links were there. That we want Mason Greenwood, and Mikel Arteta appreciates the player very, very much. What I thought there on that, Fabrizio Romano this week came out and confirmed that Arsenal have been looking for a new striker, since months, not weeks, but since months. We've been looking for a striker. We've been looking for a new player that can actually come in and become the face of the Arsenal project. He talked about Lautaro Martinez, and he said Arsenal want Lautaro Martinez, but that could be in the summer to see whether that deal could happen or not. And of course, we want we also want Dusan Vlahovic. It is understood the player has not decided where he's gonna be, because Newcastle also came in with a 100 million bid to Fiorentina, but the player has not decided where he is going to be playing football next season. But a couple of reports also confirmed that Arsenal was interested in two players, two strikers. One, Basso striker, that is Arthur Cabral, and then a Lille striker as well, by the names of Jonathan David. We looked at that story really in depth, and I say Jonathan David has more chances than the likes of Alexander Isak, who was also linked with Arsenal as well in the within the week. And I say that the beauty with Jonathan David is his price. He's around 55 million euros. With good negotiation, you can pay around 45 million euros, and that deal could be in installments. And of course, we have a very, very good, shopping relationship, shopping rapport with Lille. So it's one deal that can actually happen in the summer. He's on the move in the summer. With the rest of the players, Arthur Cabral, nothing much is known, with this deal. But sources in France indicate that the player actually is on Arsenal's transfer list, and Mikel Arteta is interested by the services of the lad, who's 25 years of age. So we wait to see what is actually going to happen. But Fabrizio confirmed that since months ago, we've been looking at this Arsenal side, looking at strikers, trying to sign in a striker. It is not weeks, it is months ago. So Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's time at the club could as well be over there. So basically, that is what has actually been running around the club match. Of course, the wins and things like that, and the excitement that Arsenal could get back to the top four. Make sure to smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Every Sunday we'll be having the Sunday wrap up, and of course on a couple of Sundays, we'll be having the Sunday unpopular opinions, where I react to the most fascinating unpopular opinions. Make sure you stay safe, and I'll speak to you tomorrow in the morning.